So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of understanding divisional charts on a most fundamental basis. And especially what I'll be doing is I'll be taking the Dreshkan chart, the D3 chart, okay, which is just as important as Navamsha, the D9 chart. Because see, D3 shows exactly how much strength and valor a planet has. Okay. And it's like it's interconnected with the Navamsha. The reason why it's interconnected with Navamsha, because Navamsha is the fortune of the chart. Okay. That this person is fortunate enough to get this in their life. What Navamsha does in middle of the birth chart, so it's birth, Dreshkan, and Navamsha. Dreshkan shows how much confidence, strength, and valor this planet has to produce that particular fortune that you have in the Navamsha. That's why. And you will literally see that ascendant of the Dreshkan will coincide with how your personality is exerted outward in the world more than even Navamsha. Navamsha is more internal. Navamsha is what you are really thinking and believing. But Dreshkan is something that people actually get to witness because it is the output of you. It is the third house energy, Dreshkan. That's why it's called the happiness of siblings. Okay. But it's not just siblings, it is the third house itself. It is your communication ability. It is your effort, stamina, strength. And is there valor and a strength in a person, like how brave the person is? So the way to understand this fundamental is very simple. Okay. And also I put I have it on draft on Kara's vlogs about this one combination of planet that I have found statistically in my research and reading. Well, reading is a research. That's just, it's hard. It's hard, man. Regardless of the age, I have seen people struggle with this combination in their life. And I'm just, on one end, because my academy and Cares vlogs about actually discussing the astrological side of it, but then on the other hand, I'm also like, should I be revealing this or not? Because it's only mine. It's only my statistical analysis and nothing else. I've actually never even heard this in any classical knowledge saying that this and this is going to happen, but I have seen something very profound. So you can see by evening, if you see a last video on Kara's vlogs called, tough combination in people's lives that I have seen. But what you need to do to understand the Dreshkan or any other divisional chart, see what your ascendant is in the birth chart. There's two ways to looking at it. There's see what the ascendant is in the birth chart and see what ascendant you have in the D3 chart. For example, if you are an Aries ascendant. So the way to understand this particular, especially two of these basic concept of understanding divisional chart, especially using the Dreshkan, let's say somebody's an Aries ascendant, right? And let's say in Dreshkan, the D3 chart, they become a Leo ascendant. What this shows me that this person is going to be very aggressive, assertive, angry, impulsive. Okay. They will take quick actions because of the fact they will have the most responsibility in their life. They're looking for a regal status. And especially this person feels extremely lonely within. Why? Because Leo is a sign which is a very lonely sign. Remember that. Leo will isolate you. When you have a dominating Leo in your chart, you get isolated very quickly. People separate you very quickly. People get intimidated by you very quickly. Or people just don't have that good taste for you. See, what we have heard about Leo sign, especially from the Western perspective, they're regal and royal and dynamic and show offy. Yes, they are that. And because of that, nobody wants to be around them. But the main thing is, Leo is the sign of the king. Okay? And because it's the sign of the king, king is at an apex level. King is the apex predator. There's nobody around him that they can call themselves, I am equal to you. That means I cannot sit with you and have a cigar. I cannot sit with you and talk about this and that. Because you are that only one position, like Indra. Indra is like the post. While let's say, like for example, there's a king, like a prime minister or president. Then there's a cabinet, right? Defense, chief of defense, and White House secretary, chief of staff, this, that. These people can actually have a bit of a camaraderie together. Like, oh yeah, we're at the lower level. Let's help each other. Let's do this and that, But the Oval Office in the White House is completely separate. Nobody enters there without permission. Nobody goes in there without permission. There's only one person sitting in there. That's what happens with Leo. The person's life becomes very lonely. And as much as they don't want loneliness. Let's say, for example, this person's moon is surrounded by planets in the birth chart, especially in Earth sign. This person's going to want to be around people, but what happens is the responsibilities are so high that they're going to be alone. Situations happen with family and friends where they're going to be alone. Okay? So that Leo sign is about being alone and having the most responsibility. Because a president, prime minister, anything that goes wrong in the country, who's the first one to get blamed? Oh, it's because of this prime minister. Oh, it's because of Modi this happened. Oh, because of Trump this happened. So you have to understand that what you are doing in the birth chart is how people are going to see what comes out through the Dreshkan. And you got to understand, your chart is not a black and white situation. If it was black and white, you can probably learn astrology in a single day and start predicting. Although you can, especially if you learn Nandi Nadi from my course. I mean, within a day, you will see a chart and you can start saying things. But what I'm saying is to truly understand, if you're talking about personality of a person, there's a 50 shades of gray barometer. There's a meter that starts from really black, dark, and goes up to white, and there's all these different shades. So when you're dealing with your children, you'll have another shade. When you deal with your spouse, you'll have a different shade. When you deal with your, second cousin, you have a different shade. When you deal with your maternal uncle, you have a different shade. Overall, this is who I am. But somehow you'll change your words. You will change your attitude. You will change your demeanor. Like you'll speak down to your younger brother, but when you go to the father, you're like slow voice, calm, little bit scared. Yet your personality is you, right? But you have changed that. So this is how you would understand. Take a look at the ascendant of the birth chart and see what the ascendant of the Navamsha is. And based on that, you should also have the understanding of what the zodiac sign means. You can't say, well, Aries ascendant and Leo Dreshkan, this person's just showing off. This person's the light of the party. This person's the center of attention. Yes, they're going to be that, but there's a lot more than that. Like you will see, if Aries ascendant is in the birth chart, Leo is in the Dreshkan. If this person goes to a party, they'll go stand in the corner. And they will wait for somebody to come and talk to them. Because internally they know, I'm somebody important, regal. I have importance. So I don't want to intrude on somebody else's time. If they have time, I'm okay. They can come and talk to me, and then I'll talk to them for sure. Because when somebody else comes and talks to this person feels more important. Like, wow, they actually came and talked to me, spoke to me. I didn't have to go to them like a fan, going after a movie star or athlete. If, let's say, one is an Aries ascendant, and Sagittarius becomes the ascendant of the Dreshkan, the D3 chart. This person, they want to attain as much knowledge as possible, but they will be ready to fight. They are strategists, and they kind of like command a certain respect. There's a commanding nature. There's this cold nature that comes in with this particular Dreshkan, the third Dreshkan for Aries, where they will say something and they won't even regret it. They will blatantly say something to someone's face, whether it's a spouse, children, friend, and people will be like, how did this person just say that? Why are they saying this? They don't have a filter. They'll just say it and they'll move on. Why? Again, look at the symbolism of Sagittarius, which you will find more about it from my blank chart predictions on Sagittarius that I uploaded. I'm actually in the middle of making Capricorn. But what is Sagittarius? It's a horse with a royer on top with a bow and arrow. They don't care who, they have to hit somebody. Right? In your case, you see this beautiful fawn. You see this beautiful deer in the forest, and you actually are taking picture with it. And here comes this thing, puts the arrow, kills it, goes there, picks it up, leaves. No remorse, no emotions, nothing. This is how Sagittarius becomes. And the reason why you also understand this about Sagittarius, because where is the sign of emotion has gone? If you're a Sagittarius ascendant in Dreshkan, 8th house. There, the emotions are completely gone, vanished. Only a big major transformation in this person's life actually invokes emotions. Okay. That will actually, and then especially if in Dreshkan, you're a Durvasa. Like your ascendant is Durvasa, moon is Durvasa. Oh, and especially at the same time, moon becomes Durvasa, a Rishi, and ascendant is Sarp. These are one of those people who are the most hated managers or co-workers out there, because they don't care. They'll leave blood spatters to get what they want. They have one aim. Usually it works well for people who aren't commission-based sales. So not these angles are not good or bad. What it shows is that a person is wanting to reach a certain number, like in commission-based work. And they'll do whatever they can to get there, and that's it. They don't care about emotion. They don't care if they took away your number and now you got laid off and you have a family. Like, I got my own family, I got to move on. And if it's Vargottama, D1 and D3, then the energy of Aries is just multiplying. It is Aries squared to the 10. So how they are is how they're going to behave, but on a much more aggressive level. For example, you're a Taurus ascendant, and in Dreshkan, you're a Virgo. Outside, a person will seem lazy, may actually look a little bit heavy or overweight, will suddenly impulsively attack. Even if you don't say something, or if you say something, even if you like become sarcastic with the Taurus ascendant a little bit, they charge at you like a bull. Okay, with the Taurus ascendant, you will obviously see big karma with the mothers there. There's loneliness with the mother, because again, Leo is in the 4th. But in Dreshkan, if they become Virgo, then this person becomes very hard to handle, because their output towards you and the world is going to be them error picking, nitpicking, criticizing, wanting to constantly verify everything, thinking too much about their own value and how other people are perceiving their value. People see them as this person who goes into a little bit too much detail and in a very awkward manner. Like, they'll have the most weirdest requests. Like, for example, let's say, I love doing photography, right? And I take a picture of someone. And let's say I have a 100 megapixel camera. And they're like, I want to, can you send me the full resolution 11,000 by 8,000? Because I want to zoom in. I want to read this. I want to see the details to see how this image is looking. Let's say I took their picture next to Starbucks. They don't care about how they're looking. They're going to care about, can I read this in the background? You see how awkward of that request is. Because their first reaction to something is not that it's great. They're like, let's look at this. What's happening here? And especially in Dreshkan, you will see people will observe how much critical you become towards your spouse. They will see this emptiness within the marriage. And it's the observant that is outside the world. And this is like going from black to a little bit lighter gray. Because the other lighter gray, guess what? I can go to your Arudha Lagna. And I can start unraveling your life. I can go to Navamsha and I can see exactly what the inner workings are. So you see how I'm taking you from dark to light. Now, the other way you can understand what is going to be that motivating factor, what is going to be that factor that you're going to have to show the most strength. So let's say, for example, somebody is a Pisces ascendant. Okay? And in Dreshkan, they have become a Scorpio ascendant. So what it shows in Pisces, person may have too many desires that they can't fulfill. They have too many desires. In Pisces, they become very abstract about life. Especially, let's say you get exalted Venus. Person will be very proudful, very arrogant. But in the Dreshkan, because Scorpio is there, their actual strength will be seen when it comes to research, digging deep into hidden things, dealing with secretive matter, dealing with investigative things. Anything which is deep and dark, that's where their strength lies. And they get motivated with that. So this is why whenever I'm even doing career consultation and I see that this person wants to be an actor. Okay, they want to be an actor, and I'm like, that's not what I'm seeing in terms of what's going to bring you the money. And then in Dreshkan, it's showing that this person will actually do extremely well if they were to go into things related to research, and specifically research related to market value of a company. Because once they go towards that, that's when things will start to happen, because it's all about the money. If you want to be an unemployed actor, you don't need to have a consultation. You just go and just start being in movies. Right? They would love to have you. Like, for example, I wanted to be in filmmaking, but the motivation that really charged everything for me, okay, is when I started to understand the beauty of Jyotish and astrology. So this is how you will see what Dreshkan is going to make you work towards. When you put effort into something, which actual effort is going to give you the result. And in this way, if you see, for Pisces ascendant, Scorpio is the 9th house. Right? So now the second way or third way you can see is that 9th house energy becomes the ascendant of the Dreshkan, meaning this person needs to go towards understanding higher knowledge through which they can research and investigate things, perhaps even becoming an astrologer. Because that is where your maximum strength is going to be able to utilize to the 100% of its capability. Where let's say you're a Pisces ascendant, you want to go into real estate, and the chart is not showing real estate, but just because the planet is there, or you just had to find a job, you're like, okay, I'm going to look for a job in real estate. It's the easiest job to get. So you do that. Okay, we have all done jobs that we don't want to do, but somehow the circumstances made us do it. Especially, let's say, progression of Saturn would have made you do that. But the Dreshkan is saying that what's really going to give you the maximum result when you put effort towards this is that ascendant. And then, of course, the whole chart gets unraveled, where the ascendant Lord is placed, which is especially part of the wealth area that I talked about on my Keras vlogs just last week. How you can see the wealth part. One's ability. There's 3 ways to look at it. Now, the other important thing, and this is going to be that thing that you look for, Dasha result. What is Dasha going to encourage you to do, and how this Dasha is going to give the result is also going to be from the D3 chart. And this is especially the D3 chart is where you want to look for planets which are in strength, meaning exalted. Okay, own sign, Mool Trikon sign, friendly signs with the friends. Okay, with their friends. Then you also have to see debilitation of the planet. Planet struck by, other planets around the planet of the Dasha Lord. Now, one thing you wouldn't consider in this is moon. If moon is debilitated in any divisional chart, it's not going to impact that debilitation of the moon, because moon is simply the observer. Okay. Moon is the one that kind of shows your karmic path. So that karmic path doesn't necessarily mean, and a karmic path I mean by like your life, because moon is the womb that carries all your karmas. So you will find moon with debilitation giving you everything you want. You will find moon with exaltation with giving you everything you want. What moon is going to rely on is other planets around it. But the outside of moon, you really want to see how that planet of the Dasha Lord is sitting. And you will especially see the house that planet sits in encourages you towards that house the most. Even if, let's say, that Dasha is not going to give you the results you want, is going to encourage you towards that house the most. And because obviously with the video that I made on my vlog, everybody's like wanting to know about their D3 chart. So I have opened up a D3 reading only. And literally with D3, you can also see the character of your spouse the most. More than even the Navamsha, D3 will show the strong characteristics of your spouse. What Navamsha will show, the behavior and how things will manifest. And again, there's always, like I said, birth chart, Dreshkan, Navamsha. They're all kind of linked. It's like the train has to go through the tunnel of D3 to get to D9 from the birth chart. Okay. But this is one of the ways of D3 chart to see how much a person is able to accumulate and will they put effort towards that money. Some people are like, I'm okay with what I'm making. I just want a calm, happy life. Some people, you can see that they're ambitious enough to go from that $60,000 salary to 3.2 million in the next 5 years. And you can see that I've shown those combinations in the Keras vlogs. So the 2 things you want to understand is the ascendant of your birth and the divisional chart. And you got to mix those 2 things together. The second thing you want to see, which house is that particular sign, and usually it'll be the trine, 1st, 5th, and 9th house with Dreshkan. With the Navamsha, it could be mostly all the houses. Because that house then becomes that thing. Like you're an Aries ascendant in the birth chart. In Navamsha, you're a Scorpio. Because your ascendant was at 9th division. Okay. So based on that, we can see that internally this person is going to be very secretive. This person is going to have tremendous amount of transformation in their life. This person nobody will see it out in the open, but they waste food. So all these things you can see with that Navamsha chart. And again, it's all these divisional charts are that spectrum of that barometer of 50 shades of gray. Or we can call it 16 shades of gray with 16 different charts. Okay? So I don't want to make it too long because I know nobody has patience anymore. But like I said, you can understand at least some of it with the wealth part, like I show in my cares vlogs. And like I said, I'm going to make that video active, I don't know, about a very tough combination that really brings struggle in a person's life. Let's see. And of course, Capricorn, I know you guys are messaging about Capricorn. I am in the middle of making the video. I will upload it tonight or tomorrow. Promise. Okay? Bye-bye.